What up, guys? Welcome back to our channel, What Up Canada. This is Sid. And during my last video on step-by-step process about the Express Entry profile creation and CRS calculation, I got a lot of questions with regards to how to create your experience or your reference letter. So basically, we populated all the details as a part of the Express Entry profile, which was your personal details, your contact details, your language details, your work history. So today we're gonna talk about that component, which is very crucial to your Express Entry profile. So we're gonna talk about your work experience reference letter, or your reference letter, which it is called. So in today's video, I'm gonna cover all the important elements as far as a reference letter is concerned. Secondly, I'm also gonna discuss in case you are self-employed. Thirdly, I'm also going to talk about just in case your company has shut down, so what you can do, or even if you are not getting the requisite format as per CIC, so what you need to do in those cases. Also, make sure to watch the video till the end, as I'm going to share a sample reference letter with you guys as well. So let's start with the video. What exactly is a reference letter? A reference letter is your experience letter which you need to showcase to CIC for proving your work experience claim. So this document contains all the work experience that you have. You need to showcase it to CIC for getting the requisite points. So there are three things which are very important for the reference letter. The first being the period, which is the duration of your time worked at the company. The second being your roles and responsibilities. And finally, the third one being the remuneration or the salary that is being drawn from that organization. So let's start and look at what are the mandatory documents that are needed for the reference letter. So the reference letter, as I talked about, should contain three different or important aspects, which is your period, your salary, and your jobs and responsibilities. Let's discuss them in detail. So your reference letter is an official document on the letterhead of the company, and it should list the applicant's name, the company contact information, which includes the address, the name of the company, the email address, the telephone number. It should also include the name of the person who is signing on the letterhead, which may be your supervisor or your HR manager, etc. Next, it should list down the time worked at the company as well as the designations that have been held during his tenure. So all the positions that have been held by the applicant should be listed down. Also include the jobs and responsibilities, which should be in accordance to the NOC code that is being selected. So be double sure of checking the NOC code, its roles and responsibilities, and matching it with what you are listing on your reference letter, because this is a very important step. And most of the applications get rejected because of the work experience reference letter. So again, I'm reiterating, just make sure that you are matching the roles and responsibilities of your NOC code against the jobs and responsibilities of your reference letter. Next, list down the number of hours that you have been working per week in your reference letter, and also state the salary, the remuneration, the benefits that you have got in that organization. So those are the three components that are very important: your period, your jobs and responsibilities, and your salary. So an important tip here, which I would like to share with you guys, is that for me and my wife, what we did was we shared the list of roles and responsibilities with the HR manager, that these are the particular roles and responsibilities that we were working on, and it is in conjunction with the NOC code. So we shared those particular responsibilities so as it aligns with the NOC code as well, and it doesn't really hamper our application. This is a tip that you guys can also play and use those roles and responsibilities. Just modulate it here and there. Just try to not use the same words, rather just change the wordings here and there so that the meaning remains the same, but you're not actually copy pasting the NOC code, roles and responsibilities, and having it on your reference letter. So this is a tip, and you guys can also use that. So now let's talk about the self-employed cases. So if you are a self-employed business, there are a few things that you need to keep in mind while drafting your reference letter. The first thing being the proof of your business ownership. So even if you are a partner, you're a shareholder, or even if you are like a proprietor, you need to actually show a proof of business ownership, which would be required for your reference letter. Next, it comes to the revenue or the payment, the remuneration that you are generating from your business. So you need to showcase that the revenue that you are generating in the form of payments that you are getting, the payment vouchers, the revenue receipts, the ITRs, for your business, by the way, and also the invoices that you have generated So all these payment methods would be really beneficial. You need to showcase them to prove yourself as a business, a self-employed business. And finally, you need to list down the roles and responsibilities. So the roles and responsibilities can't really come from your end, because since you are the owner of your business, it needs to come from a third party, which is your clients. So the work that you have provided to your clients, the services, the products, whatever the case is, you need to actually have it from them and not you, because that won't be really accepted by CIC. So now let's talk about those cases which most of you reached out to us about, like if you're not able to get the desired reference letter as per the CIC format, or if your manager or your HR manager is not giving you the reference letter. So what do we do in those particular cases? So in those particular cases, you can have your jobs and responsibilities listed down on a blank paper and have it signed by your immediate manager or your reporting manager, and have his contact details, his job title, his company ID listed on the same. So the steps that we discussed previously, like having your job title, your remuneration, your roles and responsibilities, have them all listed on a blank paper and just get it signed off from your immediate manager. So in a way that you have this comprehensive list of your reference letter with you, and also make sure that you have it listed in your LOE explaining each and everything, that this is the reason that you got this signed off from your manager and it's not on the company letterhead. Also, there might be a case wherein your previous company had shut down and now you have nowhere to go to get the reference letter. So again, in this particular case, what you need to do is have your roles and responsibilities and other stuff listed on a blank paper, and probably reach out to your ex-boss or ex-manager and get it signed off with, again, his contact details, his current company. So it becomes all the more authentic that you have a credible resource to reach out to. And even if CIC wants to verify that, they have a contact person there listed, so that your application becomes all the more authentic. So these are the sort of things that you might come across, because the world is not ideal, and I know it depends from case to case and people might witness different difficulties. So for me particularly, I didn't face any such difficulty. I was there in an organization for more than 3 years and my knock code was same. So I just wanted one reference letter, although I had changed one more company. And since it was less than a year and the maximum points that we can get for CRS is 3 or more years, we get the same points. So I didn't really get into that hassle of getting a new reference letter from my existing company. So that was the case for me, but nevertheless, I've listed down all the points that you guys might require. So this is a reference letter that I used for my Express Entry profile, and this is the format that I used. So this is to certify that XYZ had been working with this particular company on a permanent basis, and as a management trainee from this particular date to this particular date, and as a senior executive from this particular date to that particular date. So basically I mentioned about both my designations, both my titles, that I was there at my previous organization. I mentioned that I was a management trainee during that particular tenure, and then my designation changed from March 20 XX to 25th January XX, and I was a part of marketing, so I listed marketing as well. After that, you have to list down your number of hours as well, and the remuneration. So I have listed down that I was working full time for 45 hours per week, and the gross salary amounted to XYZ, and which included all the bonuses and benefits. And furthermore, I have listed down all the roles and responsibilities that I was handling at my organization. And as I told you earlier, it needs to be in conjunction with your knock code that you are selecting. So for me particularly, it was 1123, and I looked at the knock code that was there as a part of the 1123 knock code, and I matched it with what I was doing. So there might be certain roles and responsibilities that you would be handling more than the roles and responsibilities that are listed in your knock code, but nevertheless, make sure the roles and responsibilities in the knock code are also there in the reference letter that you are making. I listed down all the roles and responsibilities that I was handling, or more or less all the roles and responsibilities that I was handling. And finally, I mentioned that this certificate is used by Siddharth on his request for Canadian immigration and citizenship. So I need to clearly mention that what it is particularly being used for. So I made a note of that as well. Finally, there will be a signing authority. So the name of the HR manager or your manager, whosoever is signing it off, the contact information needs to be there with the title, with the phone number, email address, the designation, the employee ID. The more comprehensive it is, the better it is. So have all that listed, and this is the particular format. So that's about it. So hope you guys liked the video and found it informative. If yes, then make sure you like and subscribe to our channel, and if you have any questions, do drop them in the comment box below. So until next time, take care of yourself, your family, and stay connected. By the way, we also cover life in Canada and also about our food and travel journey on this channel. So make sure you check out our other playlists as well, because we not only cater to immigration related queries, we also have a life in Canada which we cover, which we explore, and that's there for you to enjoy as well. So make sure you check out our other playlists as well. We didn't really create another channel because that would be too much, but you are free to check out our other playlists and you'll really enjoy them. So until next time, I'll see you again. Bye bye.